جزاكم الله خير. السلام عليكم. طبعا ما في حاجة فورمال هنا، ما في حاجة جاهز يعني زي ما واحد لكشر ولا أعملها، لكن يعني أنا بين أخواني وأولادي وأبائي يعني كلهم. فالحمد لله يعني واحد لما يكون بين أهله يحس كذا بنشوة غير عادية يعني. فأنا لما أروح على أي مسجد من أخوان المساجد الأخوان اليمنيين شعوري غير لما أروح أي مسجد ثاني أو يروح في أي منطقة ثانية. فالحمد لله يعني الشيخ حمود ما شاء الله جزاه الله خير كان يقرأ في صلاة المغرب، وأنا إحساسي إنه هذا يعني زي زمان يعني لما كنا في البلاد يعني مع الوالد الله يرحمه والأهل والأصحاب في المساجد وكذا، فواحد يحس إنه بين أهله وأخوانه يعني. يعني feel free to ask any questions. يعني don't consider it I'm a cardiologist or anything like that. It's just like non-formal, okay? Just be easy about it. Now, people, they would talk about success, okay? This is the opinion of others, of course, طبعا. لكن and if you ask me what is success, I'll tell you, you know what? It's a hard work. That's what it is. I mean, but people, they think that, you know, it's this person is successful, he has, you know, prestige or practice or money or something like that. But really the way it starts, I mean, there is a lot of difficulty in between. I mean, it's like failures repeated a lot of time and all this. It doesn't come just like simple as that, especially for these are the young, ما شاء الله عليهم هنا. فيعني أخوكم في الله. طبعا أنا من اليمن، من منطقة اسمها في المنتعز. okay. يعني نشأتي يعني ما يعني it's like زي أي شاب أجى من اليمن. يعني ولد في قرية صغيرة في اليمن في منطقة اسمها القبيطة. دائما أذكر لأولادي، يمكن محمد هنا ولا يوسف من أولادي، فأقول لهم أنا ما شفت سيارة إلا لما كنت ثالث إعدادي يعني around 9th grade. So that's exactly what it is back home. So you don't have to go through the same story for you to be successful, but it's just start with difficulties and stuff at that time. يعني there was nothing. And then actually I did my high school في مدينة أب، يعني واللي معظمكم أنتم من مدينة أب ما شاء الله تبارك الله. فبعدها يعني with a lot of issues in between القرية والبلد والهذا. At that time when we finish high school, we have a mandatory 1 year of military work. You have to do 1 year of military. So we did 1 year of military at that time, long time ago. And then you have to apply for scholarship at that time. It was very competitive back home at that time in Yemen. And then I got scholarship, and then I went to Saudi Arabia. درست في السعودية، أنا medical school درستها في السعودية في الرياض. فدرسنا في لمدة حوالي 7 سنوات. طبعا يعني ما شاء الله الأخوان العرب ما يقصروا بالحروب والهذا، فحصل خلافات حروب في اليمن، حرب الخليج وغيرها. فكان فكري أنا أنه بستمر في السعودية علشان أعمل هاي ستدي وكذا يعني. طبعا هذيك لم يسمح لنا نعمل higher study بالسعودية، ف I have to come here to United States. In between I have to go to Yemen to visit my own family. Okay, like that was in 1994. So I went to Yemen, and then في اليمن في حرب الانفصال هذيك الأيام كان، فسكرت المطارات وكل حاجة. فقلنا خلاص يعني ما في إرادة، يعني الله سبحانه وتعالى قدر وخلاص نجلس باليمن. ففي المثبطات كثيرة. طبعا في ناس في اليمن ذيك المرة يقولوا إنه خلاص أنت تجلس هنا، إيش معك قاعد ما تروحش وكذا. يعني الحمد لله تأثرت طبعا، وثبت إنه الفيزا تبعنا كانت فاليد لفترة طويلة وكذا. وجينا أول ما خلص الحرب جينا على أمريكا. جزاهم الله خير. يعني في أخوة في واحد أخ يمني يمكن موجود هنا، شو اسمه، كان موجود هنا يصلي في الصف الأول. تعرفنا عليه بالمطار أنا وواحد زميلي أخ، جينا أنا وياه. فجابنا هنا لما وصلنا على ديترويت. جابنا على بيته وجلسنا حوالي for 2 weeks in his house. His family was back home in Yemen يعني. To tell you how good are the Yemeni people يعني ما شاء الله. and then ما شاء الله الأخوة هنا especially الأخ فارع جزاه الله خير ومحمد الأغبري كان موجود هنا فساعدونا وجدنا مكان يعني ومشت الأمور يعني الحمد لله رب العالمين. it's a lot of hard work. طبعا I left my family back home في السعودية وبعدين they joined after that. it was you know it was tough time. Okay. It was a lot of hard work, to be honest. It's come very emotionally. I spent like there was like Sheikh Hamoud Zalla Khair كان يقول إنه في certification have to do certifications. These certifications are basically it equalize your certificate from back home to here. I mean, whatever medical school here, which is the same exam, the medical school grads they finish from here, from this country. It took me at least 2 years. I used to live in Hamtramck. I lived in Hamtramck for 8 years. During that time, I was teaching at the school, me and my wife, weekend school. And then we have our own kids with us. And then I did my first step 1, which alhamdulillah, and then I did step 2, and then I applied for residency. And this, you can summarize this story like with 2 words or 2 lines or maybe 5 minutes, but it has like, it has a lot of work, means you work late, you have to work in a gas station for you to make a living, right? I did work in gas station. I worked in school, Islamic school at that time. And then you have to also, one thing, when you're foreign grads, for you to be competitive with the United States grads, you have to do some research. So you have to work, at night you work in a gas station, right? The weekend you work in a weekend school, right? And then during the day of the week, you go and do research, and then you go and study, and for you to sit for your board. So that's a lot of time, day in, day out, day in, day out, day in, day out. And it pays off because التوفيق كله من الله سبحانه وتعالى لا شك, but you gotta make no mistake. It's الله سبحانه وتعالى خلق سنن, وهذه السنن لازم واحد يتبعها يعني عشان يكون successful أو إنه achieve something. You don't want to just تقول إنه أنا بصلي بروح المسجد بصلي و study light and then الله سبحانه وتعالى بيوفقني يعني. That doesn't work like that. يعني محناش دراويش يعني زي ما يقولوا يعني. So you have to work hard. يعني whenever you work hard, you'll find success in front of you. If you don't work hard, you won't find success in front of you. That's the way. That's the equation is. That's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala خلقها هكذا يعني. And then it's the rest of the story. طبعا did my have to apply for positions to get residency in a residency program. Interviews, travels. You have an old car, breaks on you here and there. It's a lot of work. You're not used to the weather in this country and all this. So it goes from you find a lot of good people in front of you and stuff. Many times you find Muslims or non-Muslims, they are very helpful. Many times you find non-Muslims are very helpful more than Muslims, and then I encounter that in multiple times in your life in this place. But it's a matter of experience you build up over time, and you can recognize who's helpful, who's not helpful, and stuff like that. And then, of course, we come from back home with a lot of garbage in our mind. I bet the youth who grow up in this country, they can feel that. We come with a lot of garbage from back home, but we learn, experience and stuff. And then sometimes you find, it's the way they teach us back home, how to deal with the Yahud, how to deal with the Nasara, how to deal with this, because they don't understand what we go through here. They don't know you have to deal with humans as like human beings. You don't have to differentiate between they are Muslims or non-Muslims or Christians or Jewish. Just like you deal with them as a human being, just be honest, truthful all the time, and just proceed, and you'll find a lot of good people in every aspects of your life, right? So of course, it's you get a lot of bumps in your life. You find people have impact in your life. The most it's, I guess, there is any girls here somewhere?
Maybe
Behind the thing. Okay. So the mostly, I get a lot of support, of course, from my own family, right? Mostly my wife, to be honest. And I used to have, of course, when I came from Yemen or from Saudi Arabia, 2 kids, and then we have the rest of our kids here. And then with that, it goes a lot of difficulties. But you find, you get treated in this country a lot better than a lot of other countries in the world. It's like you don't appreciate it till you really live in other countries, and so on. So then, of course, it's multiple stations went through my life. I finished medical school. Initially, I finished high school in Yemen, طبعا, and then I applied for this scholarship. They call it scholarship. Initially, my scholarship was supposed to go to Germany, so everybody was happy about me to Germany and stuff. And then found a friend of mine we used to study, me and him, in the past, and يعني كان يدرس معانا هو وأخي الكبير وكذا، فكان يدرس في السعودية، فنصحني إنه أروح على السعودية لأنه قال فيها مساجد وفيها كذا وتصلي وفيها good school. فالحمد لله ذيك الأيام it was very good. I changed my mind. I went to Saudi Arabia, and then it goes like you finish one stage of your life, and you said يا رب I want to go next, right? And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala يوفقك بذل مجهود كبير وكذا، وبعدين لما تخلص one step تقول what, I want to get to the other step, and then so on. And then it's like, I've done like maybe more than 13-14 exams throughout my life for all these board examinations, and then you get up that morning, you go for your exam, he said تقول إنه hopefully إن شاء الله الله سبحانه وتعالى بيوفقني هكذا and then obviously after you study hard, you cannot just aim for success. You gotta aim for the highest success for you to succeed. You don't want to aim for a pass. You aim for the highest. It's like Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam يقول إذا سألتم الله فاسألوه الفردوس الأعلى. Maybe you will get to there, right? Same thing for study for our young youth. You don't want to aim just to pass. Oh, I will pass this easy. The issue is not to pass. The issue is how to excel in that subject. It doesn't matter what the subject is. It doesn't matter what the field. And then you got to learn one thing. At least I learned here, and that's what I teach my kids. I never force my kids to go to any field they want, but it's like, and then you don't have to be a doctor to be successful according to the description of people, right? You got to see where is your heart is, what you're going to be good at, and just excel in it. لأنه تنفع المسلمين في هذا المجال. لأنه كمسلمين إحنا نحتاج نحتاج الانجينير، نحتاج الاتورنيز، نحتاج الصحفيين، نحتاج الدكاترة، نحتاج all the people who comes in the field of space, everything. We need all of them in every place. But you gotta make sure you have to be the best person in that field. You don't want to be just a number. You have to be the best person in that field, and you have to represent. People, they look at us. As Muslims, you got to be honest, you got to be truthful, you got to say the right thing all the time. You have to be just, you don't wanna like shake around. It's, of course, we see a lot of Muslims around us. They do weird things, unfortunately. But for our young kids, you gotta say the truth all the time, and you have to, it's like try to represent your deen as much as you can in front of others, and even in private, of course. But and that way it will be da'wah for you, and then you will be successful anyway. And these are the guidelines for success anyway, in general. And then to go back, course, finished the residency program, and then I did my, and then when I finished my residency program, of course, okay, should I go to work or I do one more? And then I did one more fellowship, and then you do, and then you finish, and then you want to specialize in something, one more, and then you specialize. And people they were sick and tired of me doing this, to be honest with you. I used to live in Hamtramck, and it's like, I try to encourage as much as people around us in our neighborhood to pull them to continue their studies, to inspire them as much as possible. We were successful with some families that were not successful, but everybody has his own circumstances, and that's why it's alhamdulillah, and it's like Sheikh Hamoud, he said, you come from the other part of the world, you go through a lot of difficulties and stuff, but you are here in this country, you have everything in front of you, right? All you need is just to pay attention and remove those distractions which distract you from your life. What I mean by distractions, of course, phones, social media, TV and stuff and all that, which is, you can utilize it towards you. Doesn't mean you don't have a phone, you don't react with social media, but you use it towards your goal and what you wanna do throughout this life, so you can be successful. Again, it's like the advice from me to our youngsters. It's like just study. Just look what you like, study it hard, and be truthful in your relationship and your life, the way you handle it. And then you gotta aim high all the time. You have to aim high so you can be really successful, and you reach at one time. Of course, it's as I said, success is a description of other people. People, they look at you and they say, oh, this guy is a successful person just because he has a job, he drive a nice car or something like that, but they don't know what failures he went through, what difficulties he went through, what's all that. And then it's like, nobody knows the insides of other people except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the most, of course, but his own family, they know all the details of that. But everybody is successful in his own way. Of course, the final success, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all our deeds and a'mal, and then we go to al-Jannah, inshallah, subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is my story. Of course, now, I've been in practice, alhamdulillah, for the last 17 years. I work as a cardiologist and have office in one of the cities around here. Some of you guys have seen me as either a friend or as a patient or something. Alhamdulillah, and it's like hard work. Still, I have to do my exams every 10 years for every board I passed, which is like, I have to do 7-8 exams almost every 7-8 years, again, to renew my exams. And then that keeps you on your toes, and then plus it keeps you good, well informed about your field and so on. So my advice to the youngsters, just you take care of yourself. Masjid is your house, respect your parents, of course, and then just study hard. And then if you have any questions for me, please ask, and then I can tell you more the more I remember during the discussion or during the talk. Hey, Muhammad's here. Yeah, it takes, I went to medical school 1984, okay? And actually I finished my last board was 2003. So it took a long time. Right? But that's the way it works. Huh? Amr. Yeah, but that's, it's everything you forget at the end of the day when you finish your schooling. You really التعب منسي التعب تنساه, لكن you enjoy the success, you enjoy the fruit. The person who spent his time wasting his time with friends on a phone or a TV or something like that, and then it's not successful, it doesn't gain anything. And I tell this to my kids. I said, it's like you gotta study hard, right, and excel and succeed, right? Because when you finish your exams, then you can do whatever you want. as long as no halal يعني. Okay, you do it after that, but don't waste your time in between, because this is your main subject, this is your main subject. Just finish it, excel in it, concentrate on it, and then after you finish, then you can do whatever you want, right? So that's but it takes a long time.
What is like the hardest thing you went through in life?
Well, the hardest part was actually the board certification when I did in between, because you study back home we study in English, right? But you come to this country, you don't even have to speak English, believe it or not, right? And then so when you try to certify or try to equalize your certifications with the United States, that's the hardest part, because you don't understand the language, you don't understand the people around you and stuff and all this. Yeah, one more thing though. When I came here, I have 2 kids, and then I have another 3rd kid here, right? And then I'm working, my wife working, right? My wife, by the way, is a physician too, who's like, she chooses to take care of me and take care of the kids, alhamdulillah. And then we had no money. That's the point. We had no money actually in this country when we came in, so it was difficult. We just نعيش يعني على الحافة زي ما يقول. You know what that means? Huh? Okay, تفضل ابني.
When did you finish college?
College, I finished in 1993. Now here, back home though, when you go to medical school, you go from the beginning, you know that you're going to go to medical school. It's not like this country. You do college, which is a bachelor degree, and then you decide, or maybe you get accepted to medical school or not. So it's a different model in the other part of the world. Only in America, where you go to college for like 3 or 4 years, and then you learn certain subjects, and then you know what you like. But back home, even in Europe, if you want to go to medical school after high school, you can just get to medical school if you're qualified. Yes, I came here in 1994 in June, so I did my first board, I think the first 6 months, and then it took me another 6 months to do the other one, or something like that. So, but it takes, it's tedious work, yeah. I mean, basically I used to go, it's like, and I used to go to a library, downtown library, right? And then people, they will sit, Ramadan, I go to a library. Finish, صلي مثلا عشاء تراويح, go to a library. صلي كذا, back and forth. And it's like, it's a lot of, it's time consuming. And you go through difficulty, and then it's like some people, they have the motivation to do it, and some people, they might not have the motivation. It depends on your environment, what's pushing you behind you. So if you set your goals from the beginning, you know what you want to do, and then as long you put in your eyes that you want to help yourself, your family, your community, and then you want to achieve something, then that's the motivation behind you. And you got to remind yourself. And then suhbah is very important, whoever you surround whom, because if you tell me who's your friend, I'll tell you who you are, right? So don't tell me you have a friend who goes to the striptease shop, but you're a good guy. I'll tell you, you're the same kind of guy. So the more you surround yourself with good people, the more you'll be successful. I love this kid. Jazakallah khair, mashallah. I love this kid. Okay, so here is a point. I think I did talk about it a little bit, and I said, you got to do what you like to do. But clearly, the culture of the Arabs, all the Arabs, not only our parents, they want their kids to be either doctors, or, engineers. The Pakistanis, they want them to be engineers. The Arab, they want them to be doctors, right? So that's not true, to be honest with you, because you have to, number one, I told you I was in Hamtramck, right? And I'm going to mention a couple of stories. It's like when your dad works in Ford, right? Or in GM, right? He measures success by his own eye, right? He's make good money, he has a house here, he has in Yemen, right? And that's a success. So when he see his kids finish high school, they want them to make money. Go there and make the $10, the $12 in the gas stations. And I've seen it in my eyes. And some of the parents, they give hard time to their kids to push them to go and make money and then just get married and stuff like that. They don't prioritize things in their mind. So that's very important. Now, the money which our own community they look at actually is not a lot of money, to be honest with you. Money comes later, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala yarzuq wa yaftah yani. That's one thing. Don't push your kids. Let them study. This is the place where they can study. Actually, if you're excellent in this country, you can get scholarship after scholarship after scholarship. And I've seen examples of our own community, our own kids. They don't have to go to like University of Michigan and Ann Arbor, but they would go like Henry Ford College, and they will be the top A, and then they'll get free scholarship to go to U of M. And I've seen it from our own kids within this jaliyah. طبعا Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala خلق الناس different talents, different. Somebody who would like to be a public speaker, somebody who wants to be a scholar, religious scholar, somebody who wants to be an engineer, somebody who wants to be like a computer engineer. So we got to let people grow to their field, because that's the way they're going to be successful. You don't want to generate just numbers, you want to generate quality. And I agree with this kid here. That's we'll have to push our kids to let them do what they want to do, as long as it is, I said, halal, right? Right. Any other questions?
هي نصيحتك بعض الشباب لما يخلصوا الهاي سكول يعني يقول ما بدي الجامعة بدي عمل يعني هي الطريقة لإقناعهم على الدراسة.
Right. And the question is, many of the kids when they finish their high school, they want to just go to work. They don't want to study. طبعا I'd emphasize on this a little bit. Number one, it's the environment. Clearly the parents play a big role in this, either the mother and the father, to encourage their kids to finish their higher studies. Not only higher studies, college, but even universities, even like PhDs, khuna, mashallah. And I emphasize this a little bit. Those kids whom I was talking to you about, we're talking about when I finished in 2003. Currently, they work like normal jobs, they make like $20 or $30 or like an hour or something like that. But the kids who finish their studies, they are like either physicians or an engineer, or they have their own prestige and stuff. Not only that, see, in the past أبانا يقدروا يكلمونا إنه اللي كان يخلص high school زمان it was as if like it's a college degree, right? As like something big. Nowadays, even if you finish college, you might not even find a job, to be honest with you. So you have to almost do a higher study all the time for you to find a job. And then it's like it's the environment we live on really reflect who we are. And I think the المسجد ما شاء الله عليهم, they play a big role now to educate our own kids. And no, this is not it. This is high school is just really nothing right now. And the money you're gonna make after high school, it doesn't equate to who you are. Actually, you have a much better potential to do more things. And at the end of the day, as we said, and no, it's the issue is not the money, because the money comes by itself automatically. Your goal should not be the money for sure. For sure, shouldn't be the money. It should be how much you love that subject, and then how you're gonna excel in it, and then by default you make that wealth. By default, you make that wealth with no question. But I think it start from the house first to encourage them how to groom them to start with. I mean, when you start talking to your kids, I mean, I'm gonna say this in public, okay? In public, okay? I don't know whether it's appropriate or not, but it's like, it's many times when تسلم على أخوانا اليمنيين يقول لك الله يزوجك يعني صح؟ Which is really something wrong, to be honest with you. This is the wrong culture, right? يعني المفروض ما تقول الله يوفقك يعني. يعني نتمنى لك مستقبل زاهر. نسأل الله أن يعينك تكون يعني لهذا المجتمع. Most of أخوانا, I mean not most, but يقول لك الله يزوجك. يعني what are you talking about, guys? Just be careful. ها؟
في هذا البلد إذا كان ولد تمام والأب يعني يستطيع يساعده يدور ويتعلم عادي.
لا شك يعني. لا شك. بس قصدي إنه you have to prioritize. يعني لازم في أولويات يعني. زي ما قلنا زمان يعني مثلا زمان كان يعني مثلا يجي لك ممكن تخلف 10 kids, right? ولا 8 kids, which was fine لأنه the whole community is supporting them. There's no distractions and stuff. But nowadays, maybe it's not practical to do that. لأنه requirements are more. Kids, they need more attention. يعني expenses are more and stuff like that. So it's like not the same culture. أنا طبعا الزواج طبعا لا شك إنه نصف الدين والزواج مهم جدا وإنه هذا. بس قصدي أنا أتكلم عن الكالتشر. Even me, الناس تسلم عليه ويقولوا الله يزوجك. أقول له يا أخي hello يعني أنت you don't even respect my own family. Alright. تفضل.
أنا سمعت إنه مدير من مركز القسطرة في هنا الفور.
نعم.
هل واجهت صعوبات الوصول إلى هذا المستوى؟
والله شوف, it comes with I mean, you come there, number one, nobody even knows your name, okay? وبعدين the more you work hard, people they look at you and they appoint you. It's like there's a vote going to it. And then the more people they see you or you're hard working, you put your heart, your mind in the work, then people they appoint you to be the leader of the place, which is fine. Right. What I did not say, there's one thing happened to me, it's like when I was in my fellowship, there was a Jewish guy, he was the program director, right? He's one of the most people who helped me in this country, can tell you that. And then he used actually to take all his fellows are Muslims. I tell him, why you do this? He said, you know what, because they are qualified. So, I mean, I'll help you. I will help you. But as long you're qualified and good. Don't come as a mediocre to me and he told me you want me to help you. لأنه I want like, it's a public trust. When you're in a position, it's a public trust. I respect humans, not because they are Muslims, just because they are humans. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created them. So, especially when it relates to that. So, it's a public trust and we have to treat people like that. تفضل. تفضل يا ابني.
So now, every 8 years you take an exam?
Every 10 years. Yeah, but if you have done like 8 or 9 boards, then that's just like, it just snowblow, Like every 2 years you do one, every 1 year you do one, and so on. تفضل يا ابني. I'm a heart doctor. Yeah. تفضل. Yeah, Jazakallah khair, Dr. Mahdi. Yeah, it's. I bet you guys عندكم اللجنة التعليمية هنا صح? And then you do like mentoring groups, right? There's mentoring and stuff. So, of course, you know, as we said, you can do what you like, but you have to be the best in it, right? Right. So if you want to be an attorney, you got to be the best attorney. If you want to be a writer, you got to be the best writer. If you want to be a doctor, you try to be the best doctor. If you want to be an engineer, you try to be the best engineer. And you know, it's like, and so you don't want to choose you don't want to choose something which you don't find a job later. Right? And you have to look at the prospect of it. But and it's like we need all of them. Of course, we need all of them. And I think by what they do back in our community in Canton, they bring professionals from every field. They will bring like physicians, engineers, journalists, you know, all kind of people, and they will do these shops like every 6 months or every year, and they'll bring all the youngsters, and everybody will say his story, and they will ask the questions, right? It's really important also to do the shadowing business. You know, when you're in college or even before college, you do the shadowing business. You go and shadow these professionals, and then so you will know where you at. You know, it's like at the end of the day, if you are hardworking and you have common sense, really you can do anything you want. But there is still some people that have that instinct inside them. They can be excellent in one field, and then I think we need just to let them do it and support them. Yes.
How did you study to be a heart doctor?
Yes, I did. You know, in medicine, of course, you finish your school of medicine, right? And then you go to do something called residency, which is like internal medicine residency, like Dr. Nabil Sulaiman, right? And then after that, you do either 3 or 4 years to be heart specialist. Another 4 years extra, more than other people. Right? Fadal Ibni.
What is a good advice you can give us our kids?
Yeah. I think, you know, it's the main thing is I would say that can end a good deen, right? Okay? And you be honest and hard worker, and then I think you will excel in any field you go. And I've seen it this more and more and more. You see الشباب اللي هم في المساجد وحفاظ القرآن, right? And good with their families, all right? And leave the bad companionship, right? Those are the kids who really do the best in their life. تفضل يا ابني.
Is it hard? How hard is it like to be the heart doctor?
Well, it's it is not hard. I can tell you that. It's
Somebody died because you make a mistake.
there, of course, somebody can die if you make a mistake, right? But there's no doctor will do intentional mistake. Let me tell you that. As far as I'm concerned, but sometimes, you know, you do your best, but the patient still die in your hand, which it can happen, right? That's true. Yes, it did. Yes, يا ابني تفضل. Yes, I do a lot of times, many times a week. ما شاء الله.
حتى في الجامعة ما تخصصوا في شيء، لا بيفيدوا أولادهم ولا زوجاتهم ولا أهلهم، لكن لما يكون عنده مستوى بيفيد أهله وأولاده وأبوه وأمه والمجتمع الذي هو فيه.
طبعا.
يعني أنت جيت هنا فرضت نفسك، ما عندك من يأويك، ما عندك من يغسل ملابسك، ما عندك من يأكلك، ما عندك يعني شقيت الطريق، لكن هم معاهم الآباء والأمهات بيعطون كل طلباتهم، والبلد هذا وسيلة العلم يعني لا يعلى عليها في أي بلد في العالم يعني.
صحيح.
يعني تحثهم في هذا الموضوع.
صحيح. You know, the opportunity you have in this country, nobody else have it, right? You know, it's like, and I tell, you know, whoever, either my patients or my friends or Americans, I tell them, you guys, and I treat you guys like, you know, born in this country as Americans, you really don't know what's happening in the other part of the world, right? So it is, you know, يعني it's يعني إذا كان الله سبحانه وتعالى يريد فيك خير يعني يجيب لك منفعة للناس، يعني يجيب منفعة للناس وتنفع أكثر الناس يعني. And there is no limit, to be honest with you. I mean, you know, يعني تخيل يعني مثلا الذي اخترع التليفون ولا اخترع السيارة ولا اخترع كذا، يعني كم الأجر الذي يلاقيه إذا كان مسلما يعني. فتخيل يعني this is our potential. It's available for all of you guys, all the youngsters here. This is our potential. It can be any one of you can do it. And you know, I have 6 kids. I treat them the same. I mean, I tell them, hey, you guys born in this country, I have everything for you and stuff, so you better do a good job. I give them hard time, believe it or not. My kids, they don't get phones till they are high school. Yep. No phones. And if they get a flip phone. The most. Huh? You don't know his own flip phone. Ask Yusuf. Where is Yusuf? Here? Yusuf is here, there. Has a flip phone. See, he's high school. He's high school. He has a flip phone.
بعض الشباب يدخل الكالي يعني لمدة سنة وهو يدرس في تخصص معين.
نعم.
تنتهي السنة يقول هذا التخصص يعني هاف فور مي. شيء يعني ماين ويرجع يعني يبحث عن عمل ثاني أو تخصص آخر ويضيع سنة. ما نصيحتك لهم؟
نعم، هذا سؤال ممتاز هذا. يعني of course, you know, when you go to college in this country, you might get distracted, you know, like you go, for example, you know, you study, for example, math, you like math, and then you go to biology, you like biology, and then, oh, should I go to engineering, or I go to medicine, or I go to this, or I go to this? Within the school itself, they have mentoring, they have support to help them what to do. And then within the community, of course, يعني قد مثلا احيانا نكون مقصرين we finish school and stuff because we don't have time. But if the اللجنة الإعلامية هنا مثلا تعمل مثلا كل مثلا 6 شهور أو كل سنة أو حاجة، إنه تجيب البروفيشنالز من الأخوان اليمنيين اللي هم good example لأولادنا يعني، بحيث إنه نشرح لهم نقول له يا جماعة إنه it's like don't waste your time, you have to make a decision and just move on. لكن I see it in my own kids, and know they'll go to college for 2-3 years, and then they will change their major from one major to the other major. So, and it happens. It's not common, but it happens. You know, but it's like you gotta pay attention to this. لأنه يعني it's, as I said, if you're hardworking, you can be anything you want, but you gotta see where's your heart is at. And the more you talk to other professionals who has done this in these fields, if you want to be physicians, you go and shadow me. If you want to see what is a physician life, what we do and stuff like that, you can shadow any one of the physicians here. They won't even mind. يعني معكم هنا دكتور علي الماوري، اخواننا في موجودين هنا في المنطقة. You can shadow them. You have an engineer, you go and shadow an engineer, and so you will know where your inclination to, right? And then if you're young, even if you change, still you're going to be okay. You have the time to change and get better, right? But that was very good actually. Inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Allah barak. تفضل يا ابني. You know, yeah, you get sued, right? So yeah, if you have See, if you, as I said initially, they're saying, it's if you don't, let me how I phrase it to you, okay? If you don't have a good memory, don't lie, okay? If you don't lie, you don't have to have a good memory, right? You understand that, right? So because if anybody asks you the same question, you will just say it the way it is all the time, right? Now, when you practice, as long as you go through the steps and you have good intention, nobody will fault you, right? Even if something happened, some people are crazy. They might sue you or something like that. But all this procedure get reviewed by professionals, and if they see that you are following the procedure, normal procedure, then you'll be okay. Yeah, you should just be fine. So just be truthful and honest in every action you do. Right? There's no reason for you to say, to fabricate things. And then because when you fabricate things, then you have to fabricate it again, and then you fabricate it again. So just be honest in anything you do. Now, in medicine, because we deal with human beings, so you have to respect that. Right? Very important. Okay. Philip.
When you came to the US, you had to work, right?
I have had to work.
How about those students that have their father and parent supports? Do you think it's okay for them to work some hours or just focus on school? This is a question that people have been asking.
I think, personally, I think work experience is very important because it's, you interact with the real world. I mean, I think I encourage my kids to work. It's like, and that help them how to deal with the public, how to be well-rounded, how to deal with it's like as long as you put them in the right environment when they work, right? But I think working experience is important because it's, and then that way you know how to deal with others. You know how to, it's developmental skills, you develop skills how to deal with others when you work, and you know how important it is to develop these skills. But I think that's the important point. Working is, I think it's with a good support from your parents, of course, but still putting you in a work environment that helps you how to grow, how to develop the skills, and how to communicate with others, and that's really important.
Making it negative on the school.
Absolutely. I mean, you can work in the summertime, and then you can work, but it's shouldn't be your focus when you're during your school. Of course, you got to concentrate in your school, so you'll excel in that field. تفضل دكتور. الله يحفظك.
شقين يعني سواء للآباء أو للطلاب. بعض الشباب بيشعر إنه إذا أخذ الجانب العلمي الجانب الديني إنه بيأثر عليه سلبا في الجانب يعني التعليمي الدنيوي إن صح التعبير، بينما هو برضه في خير عظيم لأنه عائده يعني بحيث يستغل. بعض الآباء وبعض الطلاب بيخرج مثلا من مدرسة القرآن يرفض انه يتعلم قرآن او يتعلم عربي او انه بيأثر عليه وعلى مستواه، يقول ولدي عنده واجبات كثير في البيت من المدرسة عنده كذا، الافضل انه يبقى في البيت وما يركز على الجانب يعني القرآن والتربية الإسلامية.
نعم. عشان أعلق على الموضوع يعني صح؟ Now, throughout my life, I've seen it, and I said it during this speech, that the most successful kids I've seen are really the kids are in the masjid. And because, Salli 5 times a day, and then to read your Quran, this teach you disciplines. And don't, believe it or not, it's like, and we've been through this all our life, back and forth, and I've seen it. Kids who memorize Quran, they are the best in their schools. And I have examples in my home. It's like the kids who really went and memorized the Quran teach them and train their mind how to memorize, how to be excellent, how taqullah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how all this. So don't make no mistakes. Our deen ما يتعارض مع success, and you can tell. Come to, in our medical school, for example, كنت في السعودية يعني most of the kids are like كلهم بالمساجد. ما في. كلنا بالمساجد كنا. ما. These are the people who studies in engineering school, pharmacy, medicine and stuff and all this. So it's kind of القرآن لا شك إنه لا يتعارض يعني مع التعليم. طبعا كل واحد له ظروفه يعني. قد تلاقي مثلا بعض الأحيان parents they need their kids to work, they have to deviate here and there and stuff. But clearly, if you have the time and you have the potential to teach your kids القرآن, remember القرآن طبعا بيكون حافظ لهم ويساعدهم إنه they achieve the high academics in their academics. تفضل يا ابني. Had what? Trouble? Yes. The other day, 2 days ago. Let me say it? Okay. Yes, Ebony. Yes. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. So you learn from failures. You learn though. Okay, تفضل يا ابني. Oh, if you fail an exam? If you fail an exam, you have to learn why you failed, and then when you do it again, you just learn from your mistakes. What happened to me? How I felt? I felt bad. Huh? Oh, no, it's like, no, when I say exams means it doesn't affect, it's not the major thing, it's like, but it doesn't really affect you. It's like, it doesn't touch you, but it's not in your primary thing. It's like, not for example in the main board exams, or not in the main, but have I failed an exam? Yes, I did. Just to let you know, because, it's like when you do an experiment, right? If you fail in that experiment, it doesn't mean that you failed. It means just you learn that there was something wrong, right? You learn from it. You learn from your mistakes, and then you just move on. Right? تفضل. السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. نعم. Right. Now, in this country, there are a lot of programs to do this. If you're like a high achiever in high school, for example, and you want to go to medical school, there are some schools in the area here where they have programs. They call it STAR program, where you can go directly to medical school directly, and this has its own exams and stuff. All you need just to check the websites of the medical schools in the area where it can get you there. Now, there is no like specific prescription where you can read books to go to medical school, because that's a big, vast question, a lot of things you need to do. But the main thing is, if you have somebody who is really a star and he wants to be in medical school from the beginning, then there are some programs where they can get to medical school. Now, of course, if you go to college initially, then all you need is just to major into a major which can get you to medical school, and then you just go from there. But there's no like specific books you read to get you to medical school. There is an exam called an MCAT exam, which you have to excel in it for you to get easy to medical school. After you do a college. There is no special exam to get you to medical school, except some of these, I told you, medical schools, like I think Wayne State, they have a program, and Michigan State University have a program where they have a mid-star program. Like you start medical school, but there are some exams and there are some prerequisites like GPA and others, research and stuff and all this, But you have to think about this when you are like in 10th grade or even 9th grade, that you start preparing for something like that. They want work experience, some shadowing, some recommendation letters, and then there is an exam you do, and then you go to medical school from the beginning there. So you don't have to go through MCAT, or still you have to do MCAT, but you don't have to score high in it. But you don't have to go to like regular college to do a pre-med major, right? تفضل يا ابني. Well, it's I think the Saudi system is like at that time was a British kind of system, right? It's different from here. So it's like, same. We use almost the same books we studies. Teaching a little rudimentary, a little different, but it's a British system over there. Like you study like for 7 years to finish medical school. Here you do only 4 years of medical school, but it's the subject is the same possibly. Yeah, same. Hold on.
What is your hardest thing during your learning?
During my learning, yeah, I think it's just to be honest with you, anything hard I went through, I already forgot about it, right? That's the beauty of it, right? You forget anything hard thing you go through, you forget about it, but you enjoy what you achieved, right? That's the thing. Now, if you go do something and you think, oh, this is too hard, I have like 10 problems in math I want to resolve, I want to sit and work on them today. If you think like that, you know what, you'll never finish, right? It's just like, that's exactly, you just put yourself in a grief, but actually what the results you're going to get next day when you get 10 out of 10 in your score, you're going to enjoy that. But you will forget all what you went through last night if you sleep less, 1 hour less or so on. So, and that's what it is. But the hardest time I went through, actually, it's just moving from one country to another country, from one war to another war, right? War zones. It was really war zones. And then the hardest time, when I came here, I spent 2 years, and I was not sure whether I'll be able to find a position or not. So I'm here with my family, we have no work, and then we have 3 kids, right? And I was not sure whether I'm going to find a spot or not. It's difficult. I don't know whether I'm going to be able to pay my rent or not. So that's exactly what it is. It's for you. You have your parents. You have a room, right? You're going to go and sleep, right? And then your dad is taking care of all the rent, bills, and stuff like that. But for me, it was not like that. It was not. Right. Inshallah.
Why did you go to Saudi to learn?
Oh, they used to give scholarship to Yemen. If you're high, it's like the top of your class and stuff like that, you can get scholarship. So that was the situation, tells you I was on top of school. تفضل يا ابني.
If you made a lot of mistakes doing your surgery,
Yes. If you in medicine, what we do, we review every complex case, and we review every death, and we review every complications, and we have meetings on a monthly basis. We bring all those cases in front of a board, and we review them, and we learn from them. So definitely you can jeopardize your job if you do a lot of mistakes.